Hello and welcome to the Venus Flytrap podcast. I am your host, Dr. Stephen Paul Edwards. And this is where we talk about relationships, all kinds of relationships, right? What we might consider to be toxic relationship, even though there is actually no diagnosis that says you have a toxic relationship. It's a combination of many things. So why do we have them? How do we create them? Why do we create them? Well, as with most things, it begins in your childhood, usually, not always, but usually. And these are patterns that are created when we're children from what happens in our relationship with our parents, our siblings, school, the church, if you go to one, and the where you're born, where you lived, the environment you were born into. All these things play a significant role. So what we develop in our early years is patterns, right? Patterns of behavior, the things we do, the patterns of belief, what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about the world, what we believe about our parents, our friends, and all these things are part of a pattern. And unless we deal with that pattern and heal it, which usually means change the pattern, right? Interrupt the existing pattern, put a new pattern in place, we're going to keep repeating the same thing over and over again in all areas of our lives, in our careers, in our finances, in our relationships with friends, family, everybody, right? That's how these patterns play out, and they seep into all areas of our lives. So here's what I can tell you. If you want to change these patterns, we've got to work on it, right? And that's what we're here to do and help you in this, in these podcasts, and also via coaching, books, audio programs, whatever you need for you to heal those patterns so you can start living the life you deserve to live. And stop the frustration, stop the confusion, stop the pain, right? Because these things are painful, right? When you're in a situation where you have a dispute, you have anger, you're not able to forgive someone because you think they did something to you, it's hard to let go of it. But what if at a very core level, they didn't do it to you? Like, Stephen, I can prove it. I got the receipts. I got the bruises. I got the wounds. I know. I'm not saying they didn't do that something. I'm not saying they didn't do something. But what if they did it for you? What if they were doing that so that it would help waken you up to recognize these patterns so you could heal them, you could change them? So here's what I'm going to tell you. Every session we do, every podcast we do, everything we do is going to be entertaining. I'm going to make you laugh, right? I can't help it. It's just part of me, right? And one day when you read the book, you'll see what I mean. The sarcasm and humor is dripping off every page because it was hilarious. It was tragic and it was beautiful. And your life is too. Once we can get you past some of these patterns, recreate new patterns and get you to implement them, then everything is going to change, right? So I can promise you that the time you spend here with me is going to be entertaining. It's going to be enlightening. And it's going to be empowering. So let's get started.
A tailored suit in a London rain. He built an empire to mask the pain. A self-made man with a heart and heart, watching the world from a place apart. Then she walked in like a sudden blade in the midnight heat where the shadows played. A fallen heiress with a rebel soul, ready to take back all control. She lived by no rules but her own desire, wrapping his life in a ring of fire. An international ghost of a golden age, stepping back home to the center stage. Oh, the Venus flytrap.
So what I was saying in the last podcast is that in a lot of ways, we're really all the same. We're all trying to find love, right? Most of us for a long time, very clumsily, right? Bringing all this baggage with us, all these fears, right? Fears not being good enough, getting into a relationship and being vulnerable because we might get abandoned, trusting in somebody else outside of ourselves because they could betray that trust. They could leave us. They could take what they know about us and use it against us. These are not easy things to overcome, right? But that's also the challenge. It's the opportunity, isn't it? To do that work. So I think I said this before, prevention rather than cure is the easier way to go, right? To really identify these things when you're not in a relationship rather than when you're in a relationship or after you've been in a toxic relationship or relationships and wasted years of your life and been so confused. Why do I keep repeating these patterns? You know, this person came into my life and they were messed up and they messed me up and I'm still recovering. It was traumatic. Bullshit. Stop telling yourself that. It is not true, right? They came into your life for you. As soon as you can take on that responsibility and accountability, now you can start looking at why. Now, just be clear. It doesn't mean they didn't do the things they did. And it doesn't mean that they don't have accountability for that. But that's their stuff. You can't change that. What you can change is the meaning that you have given to what happened. So let me give you a story there, right? So there's two boys. They're at home with their father. They're in the front living room and they're watching a movie. Everything's great. Now, the father is a drug dealer and he has his gun and his stash under the cushion of the sofa. Now, what happens is the police raid the house, smash through the front door, SWAT team, right? And he, the father, decides to grab for his gun. And on the way to the sofa to grab his gun, obviously the police shot him, right? Multiple times, right in front of his two boys, his two children. He's dead. Now, let's think about this. Two boys, one event. Now, what did that mean? There's no meaning to it except the meaning you give it. But the meaning you give it is going to change your life. So one of them decided that meant that the police were bad. They killed my father and I hate the police and I'm going to be a better drug dealer. I'm never going to get caught. And the other son decided it meant I'm never going to get involved with drugs. I'm going to lead a better life. And I know my father would want that and be proud of me. One event, two meanings. The one boy that decided that he hated the police, that he was going to be a better drug dealer, spent his life in and out of prison. And the other boy that said, I'll never get involved in drugs. I'll never take drugs. And I'm going to live a good life. Went to college, had a great life, had family, his own children. Now, like I said, one event, two meanings. One took the boy on a trajectory of trouble, of pain, of imprisonment, and crime. And the other one, it took him on a trajectory of living a good life, being a part of society, contributing to society, getting a good education, meeting a good woman, and having a great family. That's how powerful meaning is, right? That's how powerful giving things a meaning really is. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with your meaning, right? What a meaning you assign to things. And if you give things the meaning that they happen to you, you are now a victim. And that is an endless loop. So you don't want to be a victim. You want to be a victor. So how do you be a victor? Well, if you change that belief that it happened to you and change it to it happened for you, even though that's not easy, and I mentioned that in the last podcast, it takes work. You don't get it right away. It could take weeks, months, or even years sometimes to get it. But you got to be committed to the belief that it happened for you in some way, right? Now, I know you're going to challenge me, and I'll take on any challenge you want to give me. Anything what's happened you think has happened to you, I can prove to you it happened for you. Are you ready for the challenge? I'll go through it with you, right? And then see, here's the thing. If you say it happened to you, now you have a wound. If you can say it happened for you and you find the silver lining, you find the blessing, you find the gift, now you're wiser. See, wisdom comes from experience turned into action, right? Experience turned into action, right? Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is just potential power. Not until we use it in a positive way does it become powerful. So knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is wisdom. So taking that idea, taking that belief and applying it to your life, you will become wiser. And you won't be a victim, and you won't have a body full of wounds that seem like you can't repair them, that you can't heal them, and you can. You know, sometimes people say, Stephen, I'm so broken. And I say, really? Huh. I don't see the breakages. Where you have photographs? Can you show me where you're broken? And they go, well, no, I'm not broken. Well, you're not broken then, right? So one of the things I use a lot, and I'm trying to use it in our, in our podcast here, is humor. Why? Because humor is a pattern interrupt, and we need to interrupt these patterns. Now, humor is not the only thing, but when I get with people and I'm working with people, sometimes they get stuck in that. Oh, this is happening to you tonight. Break them out of the pattern because I don't want to leave them there, right? Sometimes we got to go there for a little while, for a few minutes, and then you got to come out of it, right? Just as a added bonus, you just learned something, right? Now you're wiser if you use it. And that is to use humor to diffuse situations, right? It's very powerful. A pattern interrupt, it's kind of shock, right? It shocks people out of things, right? Hopefully anyway, right? So we're going through these experiences, what we think are toxic, but they're not happening to us, they're happening for us, right? And so one of the things that also interrupts the pattern is meditation, working out, taking care of your body, doing things that enrich you, right, every day. Create a strong foundation in life. Plus, if you know every day when you wake up, you're going to have a meditation, you're going to work out, you're going to have a juice, and you're going to read some part of the day, right? Journal. I got a funny story about journal. But anyway, journal. What have you done? You've achieved goals already. You've enriched yourself already. You've got lots of things to feel good about. And what people often do without realizing it, they stay in this victim mode, and then they don't feel like doing anything. Set a goal. Are you crazy? I just don't feel like it. I'm depressed today. Really? Well, then do something, right? Get up and do something. When you work out, you create endorphins in your body that make you feel good. God forbid, right? So then you feel good, and then you want to do the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. And before you know it, you feel amazing, and you're starting the day on the right foot. Now, if you're going from zero, right, feeling really bad, depressed, no energy, then you're not going to go from zero to hero, are you, right out of the gate? It's going to take a little bit of time to build up. But it didn't happen overnight when you felt depressed and everything was going wrong, right? It took a minute for that to happen. So it's going to take a minute for you to rebuild it. Now, in the book, you'll notice that I forget all that stuff when I'm with her, right? And then when we broke up, I'd go back to doing it again. It's like a yo-yo, right? So you've got to stay consistent with it so that you build strength, so you can face the challenges that life is going to bring and overcome them. It's going to make it easier for you to overcome them. Anyway, so I'm going through these experiences in my life, right? These manic episodes. And when I would have one of these manic episodes, I would get very high. And I would have sometimes these experiences where I would write automatically, right? And I read that piece of soul truth that I shared with you earlier, right? So sometimes I would get really high, and then I would really have some profound writing that would come through me. So I'd be in the middle of a conversation with God. If you want, okay, I'm calling it that, all right? Give me some credit here. Now, this is not something I found easy to believe either, even though there were profound things happening at the time I was having this experience. Like what? Well, since you asked, while I would do these writings, I would get myself in a certain state, which was anxiety usually. I was like, I don't think this is not going to happen again today, right? And so I would be doubtful. I'd be afraid. And then I had a radio in the room with me, right? I think it was a radio. I think it was a radio. It was like one of those, what do you call them? Music box or whatever it was, right? On the radio. And I think the radio station I was listening to was 94.9. I don't know what it is today, right? But anyway, it played all these really nice love songs, right? I know I'm such a pussy. But anyway, I'm listening to these songs and they're in the background, right? So then I would start writing and I'd lose the sound. I wouldn't be listening. I wouldn't be hearing that. I'd be writing stuff down, right? Having this conversation with God, right? And so God would be speaking. Just let me, calm down, right? So God is speaking and I'm writing it down and I would go into doubt. Again, I'm going, this is insane. This can't really be happening, right? And then my ears would start to tune into the song on the radio. And the lyrics of the song on the radio would fit perfectly to what I was writing on the page. Now, I could make up the fact that God was talking to me in my head. I could say it's higher power, and there's no way of proving that. But it's impossible for hundreds and hundreds of songs that happened for me in this writing to have been that synchronistic. It's just not possible, right? And so the more it happened, and sometimes I would need to hear like 2 or 3 songs one after the other to really raise my vibration, to start to believe again that this was really happening. See, it's not provable. But the reason I'm telling you is you can have it happen for you. Maybe not that exact way, but I'm telling you, sharing with you, is it possible that the creative force that flows through everything, that is omnipotent, omnipresent, and gives unconditional love, might have a way of talking to you? I think so too, right? Yes, but most people do is that, like I was, too afraid to believe it. However, it's getting easier and easier to do that for reasons we're not going to go into right now. But our vibration is going up, and the wall, the veil between us and our Creator is getting thinner and thinner. So there's more opportunities to do it. Anyway, I'll give you another synchronistic thing that happened, right? So part of this writing, or the soul tree, came out, and I didn't know this, right? But sometimes in ancient times, God was referred to as the old river. I didn't know that when I was writing this. It wasn't until I did some research afterwards that I found that out. So check it out, Google it, or AI it, or both. It's your choice. Hi, listen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're here to make a public service announcement. If you're enjoying this conversation, which I know you are, right? Because if you say no, you probably lie about other things too, right? So if you're enjoying this, which I really do hope that you are, please take a moment to follow or hit the subscribe button and the like button so you never miss an episode. Let's get back to the conversation. All right, so the old river, meaning the flow of water of life, the source of life. Life cannot exist without water. God is the source of all life. The river of life flows from God. See, just saying. So this piece of soldiery is called Riding the Waves of the Old River. Now, what you might want to do is close your eyes, because I don't like it when you stare. All right, close your eyes, take a deep breath, put your feet on the floor, take off all your clothes. I'm kidding, you don't take off all your clothes. Just close your eyes, put your feet on the floor, maybe even, get in the lotus position if you really want to, if you want to show off, right? But just remember, there's nobody there to see you, right? Whatever you want to do to get relaxed and into a meditative state so you can really take this on and feel it. All right, I'm watching, by the way, so if you open your eyes, I will know. All right, here we go. Riding the waves of the old river, the light that surrounds us. Well, okay, let's go back and start over because I read that wrong. Further reinforcement that I'm not perfect. I'm a little crazy. All right, riding the waves of the old river. The light that surrounds you is calling again. Now that we are together, life will never be the same. Come back home to play a new game. Let go of attachment to money and fame. You're already infamous, rich beyond rich. You are the sound of music. You are the perfect pitch. You are the immortal soul of all that is. You are a part of what you call bliss. What would you do if you could not fail? The infinite is found in every detail. To see yourself in everything around you. I am the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I am the ultimate that loves you the most. I am the horizon on which you stand. I am the confusion that you can't understand. I am the beauty in every landscape you view. I am the waves of love rolling over you. I am the only one there will ever be. I am the creator. Yes, you're talking to me. I am the original that you call sin. I am the story from which you begin. I am the chimes that soothe your ear. I am the issues that brought you here. I am the attention that you choose to ignore. I am the sky above you, and I am the floor. I am the answer, and you are my truth. I am the center, the bottom, and the top. I am the passion you can no longer stop. I am the reason that you make sense. I am the messenger of that common sense. I am the illusion that makes you tense. I am the wind that blows you away. I am the drug for which you don't have to pay. I am the drink that really makes you high. I am the food that it is time to try. I am the question. You are the why. I am all that is, was, and will ever be. I am the space you call eternity. I am here and now and over there. I am with you because I am everywhere. I am in your kitchen and your living room. I am in your business and in your face. I am the air you breathe. I am your grace. I am the glory that you chose to leave. I am the you in which you must believe. I am the feeling you most want to achieve. I am the heaven you are about to conceive. I am the lover that you try to deceive. I am the lover that you will never leave. I am the mercy in your heart. I am the light of which you are a part. I am what you see and what you don't. I am your freed on. I am the seen and the unseen, the seeker and the seer. I am wisdom in your heart. I am your worst fear. I am the first, the last, and everything in between. I am the solution that will make everything clean. I am the potion that you hold in your bottle. I am the most powerful engine, and your hand is on the throttle. I am the scenery from which you create the scene. I am the essence from which you create your dream. I am the paper upon which you write. I am the darkness, which is really the light. I am the sun, and you are my light. I am the wrong, and I am the right. I am the enemy which you choose to fight. I am the passion that gives you might. I am the light inside you that still burns bright. I am the lover you will sleep with tonight. I am the phone call at both ends of the line. I am the you that you are here to define. I am the mission that you have come to be. I am the love that will set you free. I am the truth that you wish to speak. I am the old, the crippled, and the weak. I am the homeless, the sick, and the dying. I am the voice you hear when you try denying. I am the one who lets you go. I am the one that you wish to know. I am the one who never left your side. I am the one who will never be denied. I am the one you judged and then tried. I am the one on the cross that you thought died. I am the one who came back for you. I am the one who will see you through. I am the one you always wanted to be. I am the one that is you and me. I am the one that will never let you down. I am the one who plays the ultimate clown. I am the silence that breaks your heart. I am the wound that pulled you apart. I am all there is for you to become. I am waiting here until you are done. I am the next moment you have fun. I am the addition that makes up the sum. I am the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I am the Mother, the Daughter, and the Holy Ghost. I am the one who loves you all the most. I am the one who misses you all the most. I am the one, and I like to boast. I am the here and the now, the here and the gone. I am you. You are me. We are one. Only the lonely come to be. Being with oneself is being with me. In the form you took, you can see. When you transcend the illusion, you are free. It's the same story, just a different rhyme. The end of this chapter will be the end of time. I am a lot of things, huh? That's pretty deep. Well, open your eyes if you haven't already, or if you haven't fallen over or fallen to sleep. It's pretty deep stuff, huh? So what if God is everything? Does God really exist? Why are we even talking about this when we're talking about a toxic relationship? Because these beliefs are going to carry you through. If you know for sure that there is a God, a creative force that flows through everything, and you know that you can talk to God anytime you want, as long as your bishop gives you permission. I'm joking, right? You don't need any permission. We don't need an intermediary. Although a lot of religions want you to believe that you are not worthy to talk to God. And of course, that makes perfect sense because God is always making unworthy people, right? Losers, right? That don't deserve to talk directly to him because he's very limited. You know what he did? He wrote a book 2 years ago, and that's the only book he can remember. And so why even create a new one that relates better to these times? It doesn't make any sense. So what he did was he had his only son put on a cross and killed so that when you commit sins, it's not a problem. Excuse me? Really? The omnipotent, omnipresent, all-loving, unconditionally loving God killed his only son so you could be free of what? Who creates all this technology in our world? Oh, yeah, right, man. Yeah, men do, right? Because they come up with all these amazing ideas, like a wireless phone, right? I have a wireless phone, right? But you're telling me God can't create better technology than man? You're telling me that God can't create a wireless phone directly to your head, to your mind? That's nonsense. Of course you can talk to God, and I strongly suggest you do. So the reason I'm telling you this is not because it makes me some kind of superhero. Listen, I've told you half the things I've done in my life. I'm probably the biggest wretch you could imagine, right? So if God will talk to me, he'll talk to anybody, right? That's the point. And God will talk to you. Now, God will not answer your questions. God will ask you questions so you can come to your own decisions. Because if God was going to make all decisions for you, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing here, right? There's no point. If all you have to do is ask God for everything and God says, yeah, turn right here, turn left here, do that. It doesn't make any sense. But God is there to support you, to love you, to talk with you, to give you guidance by asking you questions and by telling you truths that you can decide whether to believe or not believe and use or not believe. But here's what I'll tell you. God will never fill you with fear. God will never tell you to do anything that comes from fear. It will always only be with love, compassion, understanding, patience. It'll never be fearful. And so if you're talking to God, as long as you know that what you're hearing is coming from those places, you're fine. Because you can do no wrong. You'll make no mistakes and everything will be fine. Right? Makes sense? But if this voice in your head starts saying, listen, what you're going to do is you got to go to the nearest synagogue and kill all those Jewish people in there. It's nonsense. God's never going to tell you to do that. Now, if they were Muslim, I'm kidding, right? I'm kidding, right? So God's never going to tell you to hurt somebody else, do something to anybody else, no matter what religion. It doesn't matter. He would never, or she, by the way, because really God has no gender. God has an agenda, right? But not a gender. That's going to go down well with a lot of people going, no, God is a man. Okay, how do you know? Well, I don't know. Exactly. Because God does not have a gender, right? Has an agenda, right? Different, yeah? And so you can call God her, he, she, Bill, Trevor, whatever you want. God does not have an ego, right? Which is why God is God, right? There's no ego in it. So God doesn't mind what you call God as long as you call, right? On your built-in wireless phone, okay? All right. So what we're here to do is talk about how we get in toxic relationships, what we can do to get out of them and make sure we never go back into them again. So I'm giving you foundational things. Your faith. Faith is not a word, it's an action, right? And it doesn't, it's nothing to do with religion, right? So if you want to have a religion, it's fine, but I will say that a lot of the beliefs written in a lot of these books are ridiculous, right? But you can take out and pick out what you want, but that means you're not that religion, right? So how many Christians are there in the world? 0. There is not one Christian in this world. What? That's insane. I know, but here's why. Not one person believes in everything in the Bible. And you got to believe everything in the Bible to be a Christian. So you're not, right? Bottom line, people pick out what they want and they discount the rest. But the religion says you have to believe the whole thing. You have to believe in the virgin birth. You have to believe that Jesus was crucified and he resurrected 3 days later. That is not true. Personified. It is true in another way, which I'll explain to you at another time. But it has nothing to do with a person, right? It has to do with what happens in the world and the universe. And I'm going to get you to see it so you'll know. The bottom line is this. It doesn't matter whether you believe in the Bible or not, but it does matter if you stone to death your wife because she committed adultery. That matters. That could send you to jail, right? So a lot of these beliefs that are in these ancient texts were written by man, not God. Right? God could write a book anytime and did. Where? Inside of you. All the truth is inside of you already. Why would God send you to earth and hope that you're going to figure out where a particular book is, read it, and so you'll know God? It's nonsense, guys. It's just nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's like believing in Father Christmas when you're 30 or 40 years old. It's nonsense. You can communicate directly with God anytime. You have a direct line, so use it. And stop using these intermediaries that are mostly liars, in it for money, in it to manipulate, in it for control, in it for power, right? I didn't say everyone, but I said most, right? And it's very difficult to discern which is which. And if you go directly to God, you don't need to. You don't have to worry about trusting in the external world anymore. What kind of a relief will that be, right? You don't have to listen to, Fox or CNN. You're done with that, right? To get the truth. Nothing wrong with getting news, but you have to understand if it's slanted a particular way, then it's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth, is it? And the only way to get that is by talking to someone, something, some force that only has love in their heart for you and would only give you guidance towards doing loving things and living a full, rich life by being who you really are. Yeah, well, you didn't expect that today, did you? But we're going to get into other things that are going to be important in our transformation back to being who we really are. And I look forward to it. In the meantime, remember, nothing happens to you. Everything happens for you.
Let's go. Spiritual sparkle in a world of gray, finding the truth in the disarray. It's a raw confession of a life lived fast, breaking the chains of a heavy past, from the erotic spirit to the soul's rebirth, finding what a human life is really worth. Sex, lies, and the repercussions stay as we dance the final act away. Just a true story of a love so deep, promises that we could never keep. In the garden of the trap we lay, waiting for the break of a